So much of this industry is heartbreak. And so I think you have to find a way to find joy in other places, to keep you kind of human and keep your mental health in check.
I love that. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to today's episode of Talent Agent Talk, where we are bringing you educational lessons from real-life stories behind the scenes of TV and film. I'm your host and a talent agent, Jason Lockhart, and today our guest is Jessica Miesel.
Hi.
Hi, Jessica. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
It's pretty surreal to be sitting here opposite you, having
Is
seen 68 episodes of The Resident with your face.
Oh my God. Who's this nurse sitting across from me?
Well, I'll just never forget because of that Valentine's Day episode,
Aw.
season 1.
That was a sweet one.
It really was. Like, you just poured your heart and soul into that work.
Yeah.
And I think it touched, like, millions of people.
It was a sweet. I was really excited when I got that script.
I
I
bet.
was really excited to
Look what I
finally
get to do.
to have something to really dive in and chew on,
So you hadn't really previous to that, huh?
Not
Or at
well,
least not on that show.
not on that show. Yeah, I mean, I was lucky that throughout the series, I was given a handful of episodes that were where I was pretty featured, which was always really exciting. But that one, I think, was really tender in a unique way, and especially the guy that I worked opposite. His name is Tasso, and he played my husband on the show, and he's so fantastic, and I felt so comfortable with him, and so we had such a great chemistry. So it was just a good mix of things.
Yeah, and it worked. They knew what they were doing, some would say. Season 1. So let's go back to the beginning, though, because I know you auditioned for the pilot.
I did, and it's funny because I remember getting the audition, and I was teaching an on-camera class when I got it, and they were like, "Hey, this is a quick turnaround. We need it in like 24 hours or whatever." So I was like, "Okay." So I learned the lines. It was 3 lines, and I learned the lines really quick, and I put it on tape at the end of class. I just wore what I had worn to teach that day. Didn't think much of it, and I got a call back. But the callback was really interesting because it was just 3 lines, scrub nurse, and I was like, "Well, interesting that we have a callback for this, like in the room." And there were like 8 people in there, all of whom I came to know later. And there were like 2 cameras, like 2 camera guys, like set up, like moving, and like it just felt really intense for like a 3-line scene.
Yeah.
But I think like looking back on it now, I realized that like a network pilot, the opening scene of a network pilot is arguably like the most important scene in a series. And so I realize now the importance of what just those 3 lines were. But it was wild to experience. It was a lot of fun.
So some of the other people in the room ended up on the show.
Well, with producers, I mean.
Okay, because I was thinking, like, was this like a Star Wars scenario where they
No.
brought in a group of residents?
Hunger Games?
Yeah.
No.
To kind of like piece together
Yeah.
like the core, because it sort of feels like that's what they did season 1.
Yeah, no, I mean, but no, it wasn't like that. It was like all producers, writers, like network people, none of whom I know, director, obviously casting. But yeah, I later came to know them as like the producers and the writers and stuff. But yeah, no, I didn't read with anybody actor wise when I read for it the first time.
And you really didn't know the scope of how long you were going to recur, right?
No, I mean, I was told that there was I don't remember being told there was any chance of recurrence. And I don't think that they were thinking of that at the time, honestly. But I think the one of many advantages of doing a pilot is that, they have their regulars and they have their story arcs and all of that, but they need filler, they need like and I mean that in a good way. Like they need like the side stories, they need the supporting characters, they need the levity, they need whatever. So I think that they were kind of keeping their eyes open for some people that could be that. And I think that they were like, "Hey, she's kind of weird. Let's keep her here."
Well, I think all the groupings from season 1 really contributed to the success of the show because you've got a vast audience watching, and different people probably clued in or dialed into different characters. And I remember personally getting invested in your story in that first season. And it was like, and then there were other stories, and I loved Matt Zuckery. I was just like, "Oh, look at this guy who's like going against the grain. He's tattooed." I was like, "I like this dude."
Going back.
Yeah, like he's super cool.
Yeah.
But I think that you and a group of other actors in that first season surely are the reason why it went on for so long, because you kind of set the precedence of what we can do as an ensemble.
Yeah, and I think a lot of it too is like not only like the talent and the storylines, but I think a lot of it was how we were with each other behind the scenes.
How so?
I mean, we were just everyone got along. Like, I mean, there was just such a sense of respect and kindness that we treated each other with, and that was something that was expected. And if you didn't do that, if you didn't behave in the way that was expected, it was a problem. And I can't tell you how much I appreciated that. It made it a really joyful place to go to work. And, you had Matt, who I think was he led by example. He came in every day. I think he was 30 minutes early every single day. Every single day for all 6 seasons. I mean, every single
and
day.
Time is valuable, so that meant something.
Yeah,
that meant something to him to give that time.
He would be there like sometimes his calls were like 5 a.m. And he would get there. I don't think he was ever late a single day. I don't know, Matt. Maybe you were, but and every single take he did, he was dropped in. But then he didn't take himself seriously, and he just expected people to be kind, and he would make it. He would say something if they weren't.
Good for him.
And our head producer was the same way, Rob Korn, who just was like the best. And so there was a lot of like the moral compass was there.
What was it like for you, like from like a mental place or like an emotional place, like doing 68 episodes is God only knows how many days, maybe 200-300 days.
It's a lot of days.
So like how do you do that kind of work for so long as just a normal human being? You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think I've thought about this before. I think because when I booked the show, I was like working like 6 part-time jobs, and like I was really tired, and I was kind of broke. And I think I had it in my mind that, okay, like if I were to ever book like a lead or like not a lead, but you know what I mean, like a consistent acting job, that all of my problems would go away, that my life would be perfect, and that I would never be tired, and that I would never, wouldn't have a care in the world, right? And we glamorize it in our minds. And listen, a lot of it is like there's no other job in the world that I would rather do. But it doesn't mean that there aren't days where I'm kind of cranky. It doesn't mean that like all of my problems didn't miraculously disappear. I had a lot of financial relief, which takes a lot of stress off of me, right? But there were some days where I was looking forward to going home at the end of the day. And I never thought I'd feel that way about being on a set. And it's not that I like showed it, but that was a weird thing for me, I think, because I think I've felt some guilt about that. But like you said, we're human. And I think it's actually really good for actors to adjust their expectations.
Huge.
To know that it's still work. You're still going to be tired, and that's okay because it's a job. But it's not perfect, and it's never going to be. It's still the best in the world, but it's not perfect,
Yeah.
You have to find other things to fill you up, I guess. Like, you have to still have things outside of your career that bring you
goals.
Fulfillment. Yes.
Yeah, even when you achieve an actor goal.
Yeah. Still have other relationships.
You still have things to get excited about in the future. You still have bucket list items, what I mean?
Absolutely. Because you can't rely on only this to fill you up, and because I think so much of this industry is heartbreak. And so I think you have to find a way to find joy in other places, to keep you kind of human and keep your mental health in check.
I love that. I think, as someone of your caliber with experience, for someone like you to say that so gracefully, like, I hope people are really listening,
I hope that people aren't, I don't want to, like, offend anybody or make it sound like I don't have enormous gratitude.
I don't think it sounds like that at all.
Because that's all I have. I mean, like, every day I was grateful to be there. But I also had to be like, you know what? It's okay that I'm tired today. It's okay.
But you still show up and do the job.
Absolutely. I still show up on time, and I still show up with a positive attitude, and I'm consistent, and I never complain.
And maybe use it.
Yeah, exactly. But like, I was like, you know what? Like, I'm still human, and I still have things outside of this job that I have to deal with. And like, that's okay to acknowledge those things.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Especially if you can somehow use it in your you're acting or in your day. But to just acknowledge it alone makes you human.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? No one's superhuman.
No.
You know?
Unfortunately, no.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
You know, we all wish that we could put
I
on a
know.
bat suit and
Right.
just fight crime and
Fly
never
off.
die. But
Yeah.
that's just not the way it
No.
works.
Sadly.
Sadly. Yeah. So would you say, like, you know, I love the idea of like speaking to a younger version of yourself. Is there anything toward the end of that experience that you learned that you wish you could go back and tell younger Jessica, the actress, and or hundreds of actors that could be watching this?
So, yes, the first thing that comes to my mind, we're going to go way back. Okay. You said younger Jessica. Let's go to like little Jessica, like 3, 4.
Like getting ready for a dance recital, Jessica?
Yeah. And, you know, I remember like my family, my aunts and uncles, they would like find me funny. They would laugh at a lot of the things that I would say or do. But I was not aware that I was being funny. And so I would perceive it as like them making fun of me. I'm going somewhere with this. Just give me a second. And I would say to my mom, like, why are they laughing at me? And she'd be like, honey, because you're funny. Anyway, I say that because that I carried that with me throughout my whole life, where when I decided I wanted to be an actor, I thought I had to fight really hard against being the funny one. I didn't want to be funny. And in turn, that made me suppress like my authenticity.
Why? Why didn't you want to be?
I think I had it in my mind that I wasn't a serious actor if I was funny, which now I look back and realize that is so not the case, that comedy is actually very difficult.
It's very challenging.
And I love it. There's no other place I want to live in as an actor. But I fought so hard against it. I felt like I was doing something wrong whenever I would get a laugh. Like if I was doing a theater thing and I would get a laugh, I didn't understand why they were laughing. And I remember in college, a long time ago, I was doing a scene from like a Shakespeare thing. It was from Richard III, which is
huge,
very heavy, very dramatic, no comedy at all. And I remember afterward, the feedback was, "You're kind of funny," and I was devastated. I was so devastated because I didn't want
You wanted them to say something else.
I wanted to
You
be
had different
like
expectations.
a dramatic actress.
Yeah.
Yes, but I realized like because I lived in New York for a long time. And I would go into auditions. It was mainly like musical theater. And I would suppress everything that I thought that I was. Like I wasn't good enough. But I stayed on The Resident because I was completely myself. And they ended up writing this role and naming it after me. And I was the like source of levity. And so once I embraced the authenticity, I've been working ever since.
Right. You can put that into your auditions.
I know. I have a really fun story, actually. My very first audition that I ever did. So I come from theater, right? Total theater rat. And I got picked up by Susan Franzo. And she was like, oh, you're really funny, whatever. So my first audition was in the room. And I had never been in front of the camera before, ever in my life. And so I walk into the room, and the casting director goes, okay, so we're going to start with your slate.
You had no clue what that was. Huh?
And I said, oh, I don't think I brought one of those. Don't do this. And she looked at me like I had two heads, obviously. And she explained to me what it was. And then I did it. It was like the longest slate in the world. But I booked it. And
what was it?
It was a multicam. It was called Let's Stay Together. This was a long time ago. And it was just one scene, but it was like a comedy, whatever. And I had just moved back from New York, where I had been suppressing myself over and over again, like to not be me. But then I walk into this room where she was like, she explained to me what a slate was, and I just like word vomited, like, I'm so sorry. Like, I've never been in front of the camera before, but I'm an actor. I've been an actor my whole life. And then I did the scene, and she told me at the table read, she's like, I loved how authentic you were. She's like, I just liked you so much, and I wanted to give you this opportunity. And that was such a light bulb moment for me to be like, wow, I guess just like being myself, even in the most klutzy way, is interesting.
Hey, are you a parent of a young actor? Then you're going to want to pay attention to this, because Get Seen Studios has what we call our Rising Star program. This program is incredible. It is a monthly program that puts you in front of an industry pro every single month and focuses on what a young actor needs to be focusing on, which is auditions. So every single month, we focus on either theatrical auditions or commercial auditions so they can be set up for success when they get an agent, or if they already have an agent, to really succeed at these auditions and even begin to make money at this. So we bring in different industry pros every single month and agents and casting directors, and then work on those auditions. So if this sounds like something that you would like to get your child or a friend that has a child involved in, all you need to do is email risingstar@getseenstudios.com, and we will let you try your first month for just $1 a class. That's right, only $1 a class. All you got to do is email us, and we will get you all set up and ready to go to improve those auditions, and then also get in front of those industry pros, because we are Get Seen. Thanks for watching.
It is, and it's powerful. I think as an agent, I think we have two jobs.
Yeah.
So actors, just so you know, we don't just get you auditions. I think another job that we have is to make the actor a likable human.
Yeah.
If we can make you likable and you turn in great work, then suddenly a casting director or producer or whoever it might be will want to work with you. They'll want to pick you.
Yeah.
And it's not just about, do they like you now? It's like, we want them to genuinely like you so that they want to give you opportunities all the time.
Yeah.
And how do you help your agent do that? Exactly like you just said.
Yeah, but know what a slate is, though.
Do your homework.
Don't do that.
Have some information and some knowledge about the behind the scenes of the industry.
Yeah.
For anyone that doesn't know what a slate is, Google that shit right away.
Yeah, please. Yeah.
For any theater actors watching. But look, theater actors, look what you can become. You know, like I grew up in the theater. I was a theater kid too.
Yeah.
And just mad respect for the discipline. And
There's like no better training, honestly.
I agree.
I think it's a great baseline. I think if you have that as your roots, I think you're gonna. It's still a different art form. Like you still have to learn what it's like to transition from stage to camera. But I think if you can, you're gonna have a much easier time transitioning to on camera if you come from a theater world than if you just have no training at all. Because I think you learn like from the top of your head to the tips of your toes. Like you learn how to engage your whole body. And I think something about that on camera is really captivating when everything's engaged.
Well, also the connections that you have with other actors.
Yeah.
I love on stage when something goes wrong.
Yeah.
And actors look at each other and they just really connect.
Yeah.
You know, but I always like to joke that it shouldn't take something going wrong for actors to connect.
Well, you're
in
listening.
the present.
I mean, like, because I do a lot of coaching. I coach a lot of actors, which I love. And I think that the thing I see the most is that people don't listen. And I think that people are so focused on what their line is going to be as opposed to, like, actually listening to your reader. And I think that listening is where it's captivating. I think that's where the magic is. But I don't know how to teach somebody how to do that. Like, I think that can come with trust. I think you have to trust yourself that you're going to know your line. You can't be focused on it. And so that can feel scary, right? Kind of feel like free falling a little bit. But if you do that, though, that's where it's like the tape can be incredible.
It has so much complexity.
Yeah.
Because then there's two things happening. There's listening and responding.
Yes.
I see kids book. When I watch kids tapes,
Yeah.
sometimes they're really listening intently for their next line.
Yes.
But they're so fascinating just standing there really listening that if you can get a little reaction out of them,
Absolutely.
it looks like a story and not an audition anymore.
They're engaged. Yeah. As opposed to just like having no, and that's the thing with theater, right? That like the reason why we respond differently when something goes wrong is because we have to be present. And so we have to respond to what's happening. And theater, that's what theater trains you to do.
Yes, just do that shit in an audition too.
Exactly. Just be
You know?
engaged. Just go with whatever comes at you. Like respond authentically to whatever that is. Even if someone gives you the wrong line, it could be incredible.
Well, I think that's where improv training comes in handy.
Yes.
I think improv
Love
at any
improv.
level for any genre of acting is very helpful. Just so that you know how to serve the story and your partners.
It's scary, but it's invaluable.
Yeah, the confidence I think an actor can have when they just know that they're present and contributing. Like that's confidence through the roof.
It's simple, but it's not easy. You know?
Easier said than done.
Yeah.
Listen,
Yeah.
but just listen. Yeah.
Yeah.
Tapes book all the time.
Well, because we listen all the time. We listen and respond every single day. when we're having a conversation. And I think it's so interesting then that we're given words on a page that aren't our own, and suddenly this thing that we're able to do every single day suddenly becomes hard.
And it shouldn't.
No.
But you're right. It does.
Yeah, it can feel scary. Yeah.
Until you start to master it.
Yeah, and then it's like liberating. It really is.
When you can just step there and do it.
Just be present. It's exciting.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I know we were going to go on this like tangent of theater
Sorry.
and craft, but it's like, I couldn't agree more.
And it's not just about theater. I mean, like it's, even if you don't have theater training, you still have to listen and respond in a completely authentic way. Even more so, I think, because on camera, you can't hide anything.
Oh, that's where it stems from, just being you.
Yeah.
If it's just you, you're standing there and the camera's on you, but you're really listening and you're really responding because the lines are in your bones. Like, as you said, it's just going to fall out of your face.
Yeah.
The lines are there. But if you're thinking about the lines and the camera's right there,
That's
we
all
can
we're
see
gonna
your thoughts. So you need to be thinking in character about what you just heard.
That inner world. Create your whole environment. Literally, like when I coach an actor, I'm like, where are you right now? What does the room look like? Is it daytime? Is it nighttime? Like, is it dirty? Like, is it like, what, like literally, like, if you're looking out the window, what are you looking at? Are you looking at a leaf? Are you like literally create the whole environment? And which can be hard when you're like in like a little taping room.
Yeah, but those specificities help because if you can see it,
they can too.
So can they.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah, if we were sitting here at a desk and there was like a window and we thought someone was creeping and we just looked like that a few times.
Yeah.
People would think there's a creeper at a window.
Absolutely. Yes.
But there isn't. Unless, I don't know where Jesse is. He's around here somewhere. But anyways, so this brings me to my final question though.
Okay.
Do you have a dream role? Is there anything like what's next for you, Jessica?
Gosh.
What do you wish would happen?
I mean, I want to be on like a single cam comedy.
Okay.
That's where I feel most at home. I'll take whatever, But,
English teacher, season 2.
Okay, great. Or like I want to be like a female Dwight, like I'm like from The Office. You know what I mean? Like someone super weird. So that would be my dream: is to just be able to go to work every day and make people laugh, and to be super weird and bring joy in some aspect.
I hope that happens for
Me
you.
Me too.
It sounds. I want to watch. I want to watch the female Dwight.
Perfect. Let's
come
do
to
it.
life.
Thank you.
Well, thank you for being here.
Yeah.
It's just awesome,
Yeah,
to have you here and to be shooting the shit about stuff that hopefully helps other actors.
I hope so. Yeah.
And as a thank you for being here, you do win a car.
What?
So if you want to reach in here without looking.
Without looking,
and I know you know Sarah Carpenter. She gave me this bag, so it's very magical. See if you can't pull out a car.
I have a car, and it's blue.
What did you get?
It's a little convertible.
That's the Barbie convertible.
Stop it! It is. That feels appropriate.
I'm very happy that you got that car.
Thank you. I am too.
Well, I hope that brings some positive energy
Yes,
into your world wherever you choose to place it.
Yes.
And just congrats on all your success and
Thank
much
you.
more to come, no doubt.
I hope so.
And
Yeah.
thanks for being here. Thank you to our audience for tuning in. I hope you got something out of today. And if you would like to be a guest on our show because you've got an interesting story with a booking lesson, you can pitch it directly to us. The email is talentagenttalk@gmail.com. Again, that's talentagenttalk@gmail.com. Thank you so much. Thank you, Jesse and Get Seen, for hosting. And Jessica, thanks for being here.
You're welcome.
Thanks again so much for watching. And if you loved that story and were interested to learn more about the casting office that actually cast that show, then I have some really cool news because our sister show, Get Seen Unscripted, actually had them on the show. So you'll see it right here. Do not miss that episode. Over an hour on one-on-one with that casting director, talking about things that they like, don't like, to help give you the edge in your next audition. So thanks again so much for tuning in and watching. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't already. We'll see you on the next one.